Hello, stamping friends. This is Jenny from Celebrate the Journey, and it's Monday, time for our Facebook Live. I know I've been missing in action lately, but it's just been hard. It's been a hard fall season getting back into the swing of things, so I'm just going to push through and see what we can do and keep going. I can't seem to get my page to show yet. There we go. So we'll get started. I know you've seen this card before, but I had so many questions about it, so many comments, and a couple people wanted a tutorial. So I've started typing that up, and then this video will go with it. This was the card that, or one like this, was the one so many people had questions about. And I call it a hinge card or an arched card. It just doesn't have a name. It's just a card. So this is the one we're going to work on today. Of course, we're going to change it up a little bit. And I will try to give you as many tips as I can to go along with the written tutorial. Now, this is the one using the arched window from Garden, what's that called? Something, Garden Meadow or something, I'm not sure. I did the same thing here with the this die that cuts out this shape. I don't even know that either. Good grief. You can tell I just haven't been making cards lately. But it's made the same way, except it's using a different shape. I think any shape that you might have that would work for this, you could use some of the stitched rectangles, circles. I think it'd be pretty tricky. So I don't know. But this is what we're going to work on today. Now, someone asked me this, what's the size of this card? And it actually, when it's folded up, it's 4 1/4 by 3. So it will certainly fit in your envelope. I've also seen, I do this in 3s, but you can do it in 4s. I think 5 would be way too much, but if you wanted 4 arches instead of 3, you could do that. Or you could just do 2 if you wanted it simpler. So there's lots of different ways you could use this. So to start with, you're going to cut. Oh my goodness, where are they? If you're going to do 3 arches, you need 4 arches that are already cut. And I'll explain why with that. And then if you're going to use this paper that has the scenes on it, then you'll need that. You could use just designer series paper. It doesn't have to be this paper that has the pretty scenes, but this is the one we're going to use today. And you're going to pick where you want. It's a good idea to pick what you want to show through. And you kind of need 2 of the same, and so I'm going to do like this one and this one. So we'll run those through the machine in a minute. But if you're going to use these, then this kind of paper, then I would suggest you decide how you could, what would you like to show? What would you like to be shown in your arch? I think that would be very pretty. And then the other side of the arch could be, well, you could do both the same. That's, up to you. And then this one would be pretty. You could do this tree and this tree. You would have a nice fall card. So let's, hi Leanne. surprise, I'm alive. I'm here ready to make cards. So, hi Polly, thanks for joining us. So my suggestion here is once you've decided how you want this, then you go ahead and die cut your paper. We'll run this through the machine. I don't think it's going to slide, but we'll just be careful. Run that through the cut and emboss. I'll try to think of all the questions I had about this. If I forget, then you can ask some more. What I like about this is it's so easy. And that's my favorite kind of card. Now you've got this nice piece left. You can do something else with that. And now on this one, we're going to cut here. We kind of want our grass or the trees in the background to be about the same at the bottom. It doesn't have to be perfect, but isn't that just pretty paper with that? I guess it could be sunset or sunrise, couldn't it? I don't know if you're like me, but sometimes when it's season change or seasonal changes, I just don't handle it well. And I have a happy light, so it's time for me to get that out because it's going to be the dreary days of winter and not as much sunshine as we're used to having. So I think that's important to take care of our mental health there. So these are the two side pieces we're going to use. And then we need a side, I'm going to put my sentiment on the middle of this card. Now, because I tend to stamp crooked, I'm going to stamp it before I die cut it. So this actually will be my number 4 arch. And this is going to be a sympathy card. So I pulled, may you find peace in the days to come and in the loving thoughts that surround you. I think that's a pretty good sentiment. Look at my shaky hands already made a little mark. Well, Polly, were you affected by the hurricanes at all? Central North Carolina might not have been too bad. I hope not. It was pretty sad to see all that devastation. Now we're going to kind of put that in the center. And then we'll die cut it. Now if you feel comfortable about stamping and then already on your die cut piece, you can do that, but I'm so bad about stamping crooked. Okay, so now we've got that. And we're ready to start getting our card together. Ready to pop that out. This die, you can usually cut 2 at a time. but don't go more than 2 because it won't cut through 2. Now we're going to give this a background. You see how this is these colors, so we're going to use some purple and green. I'm sorry, I'm glad you were not affected, Polly, but it sure was hard on the people that were, and still is. It'll be a long time before they recover. So we're going to put some ink on here to kind of just make it match. Just don't. So this is Gorgeous Grape. Always start off and then drag it. Oh, this won't match perfectly, but I think it'll be close enough. And that's a little light for me, but I think we'll add some Blackberry Bliss to kind of give it that same look that's on this paper. Yeah. Isn't that pretty, isn't it? And now we'll add some green at the bottom. And we're going to use Mossy Meadow. We'll just kind of make it look like those trees towards the bottom. Or you could stamp some little trees down there if you wanted to. Now we're ready to start putting this together. Now I do want a sentiment on the back. So I'm going to hopefully stamp that one straight. We'll see. Now, if you pay attention to this die, because it's got the stitching around it, you want to make sure that you've got the front side showing. You can see the difference, maybe. I'm not sure you can see it on camera, but it's much more pronounced on the front than on the back. So we're going to stamp our sentiment for the back that says, with sincere sympathy. And this is photopolymer, so we'll put that on our foam mat. It's nice that we can mix and match our stamp sets today. Now I'm not going to distress this with the colors, but you could. I just want it to have a place for signature and a little message that you would put on your card. Okay, so this is our back, and we'll hold on to that for just a minute. Now here's our see if I can cards. This is the front. Actually, you know, I think I need that's right. I'm having to think here. So this is the back for these, and I want that. And this will be the back for this one. Do you have to do a little thinking? Because we want the pretty side to show on the back. So we're going to put our hinge on the inside of our card. By the inside, I mean the inside layer. Now for my hinge, I just used some grid paper. This is about 2 inches wide and not quite 3 inches tall. It's just don't want it to go past where the arches meet. And we're going to use this for our hinge. It doesn't matter that these lines are here because you won't see them. The paper will cover them up. But if you are worried about that, then I would just use some computer printer paper. Now, when you line these up, you want just a tiny bit of a gap so that when you fold it over, you've got some room to give. So now you're going to fold that over just to get a nice crease. And then we'll do the same with this one. And when I upload this to YouTube, I will add the link to the written tutorial. So you'll have a little extra help with it. And we'll, of course, this will be much stronger when it gets dry and all the pieces put together. Now we're going to layer our pieces onto the front. And this time we'll want the front part showing. I might need to cut one more of these, because I don't see one here. So one more arch. No, I don't need that. I'm telling you, it's when you go on vacation, your brain goes on vacation, doesn't it? I don't need that. So this is our center one. I always tell you to put the center one first, because you want to make sure that when you fold these over that it's going to work, because you might need to wiggle it around a little bit. I was thinking this was going to be a solid piece of paper, but it's not. It's going to be our designer series paper. Yeah, I think my brain has been on vacation for quite a while. That's sad, isn't it? Now we'll make sure that's still hingy enough. It is. And now we'll put our designer series paper. Now, if you were going to do some stamping on here instead, that's what you would need another one for. So you still used 1, 2, and then 3, and then the back one is number 4 for your, when you cut 4 arches. And the reason I did that, well, you don't want the hinge to show, but once you give it 2 layers of paper, it's a stronger card. And you kind of want that strength so that it'll stand up pretty. Now, you'll have to help me decide on this one. Did not, on sympathy cards, I don't usually put an embellishment. Occasionally I might put something like a butterfly or the bird, but not shiny bling. And I suppose a little bird might be okay on these, but I think simple. For sympathy cards, you want simple. Now see, this gives you a finished back with the pretty stitched indentions, and a pretty front with the stitched indentions. And now look how nicely that stands up. And that is so easy. I know that it looks pretty fancy when you consider how pretty it is, but it's actually super easy. Not complicated at all. So trim that little booger off there. That looks like it needs a little bit of glue under there. Slip that. I'll have to decide if the birds get on this card or not. Oh, maybe here. Problem is, I don't know where anything is these days, so I think I will put a little bird up there. Let's see if I can find it. There we go. Not too bad. Or it could be one of the dragonflies. I think one of those small little birds. What do you think? That looks sweet. And just one. You don't need anything too fancy there. So there's that standing arched card. Just remember, when you start, cut 4 arches and then 2 more for your, if you want it designer series paper or something that you maybe stamp on, however you choose to do it. So here's the one with the different shape, and it stands up also. And then this was one of the original ones that everybody had questions about. See, I just added little die cuts on that one. So you have all kinds of options when you're making the hinge card. I think that really what you need to be concerned about is make sure your hinges are flexible enough that they don't wrinkle here when you fold it over. See, that one's pretty tight, but it'll make it. Or I think this one I actually folded that way, but they still stands up. So it just depends. So this is the pretty one we made today in about 20 minutes, even with my brain on vacation. How's that? I can't wait. I'm thinking about this paper that we were looking at and using the Frosted Forest tree for the middle section. So leaves on the side and the tree in the middle. If I do that this afternoon, I will post it for you to see. I think that would be very, very pretty for a Thanksgiving card or even a birthday card, however you choose to do it. Now, of course, you can decorate the back even more if you want, but for this one, I wanted to keep it simple. Thanks for joining me today, and I promise to be a little more around a little bit more so you can keep up with me. Talk to you later. Bye.